editor of Vedanta Kesari from Chennai. From 1940, this magazine being brought out. If you go to the bookshop, you will get a counter of Vedanta Kesari. Beautiful articles are being brought out. And he has been editor for many years. Not only that, he goes around many places giving and motivating the youth. And his topic is self-mastery as the key to success and happiness. That's a wonderful topic. Swami Atmashraddhanandaji.
An anchor not only announces, but he also is a timekeeper. So I have to be now my own timekeeper. Revered Swami Gautamanji Maharaj, Revered Swami Atmashraddhanandaji Maharaj, other respected Swamijis, Swami Nikleshwaranji Maharaj, and those in the dais, the dignitaries, and my dear young friends. The subject of self-mastery should interest everyone. There is a short anecdote from Swamiji's life, and that I am listening to the talks since yesterday, even before that. That anecdote somehow has not come in our discussion. It's a very short but very inspiring anecdote. Swami Vivekananda moved around India. He traveled on foot. He traveled for years together, studying and observing things, and he had a very first-hand knowledge of India. And during his visit to Varanasi, you might say the spiritual capital of India, he was passing through a temple, and on the one side of the road there was a tall big wall, and on the other side there was a pond. And as he passed through that, there were some burly monkeys. The temple is still there, and there are those monkeys, the next generation of monkeys still there, and it is called Bandarwali Road there. And they decided to trouble him. They ran after him, and like any one of us, Swamiji also would have, as we would have done it, Swamiji also started running. Someone who was observing from a distance, he called out and said, "Face the brute, samna karo." And he turned back. And as he turned back, the monkeys turned away. And this simple one incident, Swamiji quoted during his London lectures on Raj Yoga, on Jnana Yoga. He said, we must learn to face the brute. The change that comes in our life, and that change, what we call as success or attainment or achievement, is always by facing the brutes. And this is what is the core of success and happiness in life, and that is facing the brutes. These brutes are both inside as well as outside. Outside brutes are, perhaps that many of us we know, we have to face an examination. That's one kind of brute. We have to meet somebody, talk to him. That's another type of brute. We have to call up somebody and do something. There are so many types of brutes. Or there is a brute inside. We have to face our own anger. We have to face our own limitations in terms of, let's say, lack of self-confidence, lack of self-discipline, lack of XYZ thing. And that is also facing the brute. Sometimes while we are facing the brute, we get a feeling that whether we are really capable of facing it. That brings to my mind a very well-known Sanskrit couplet. It says, "Amantram aksharam nasti, anaushadam moolam nasti, ayogyam purusham nasti, yojaka tatta durlabhaha." Meaning, there is no such word which does not have the power of a mantra. Long back I was attending a small gathering where there were students who were sharing their experiences, and one of them said, "My teacher gave me this mantra." He said, "Yes, you can. Yes, you can." That was my mantra. So a mantram Aksharam nasti. There is no word which doesn't have the power of a mantra. Anaushadham moolam nasti. There is no moolam or a root which does not have the power of an aushadhi or a medicine. So we find sometimes there is a medicinal value and sometimes we don't find it. But later on someone discovers and finds, oh, there is a value in that. Which means there is a value in every root and every plant. And then he says, Ayogyam Purusham Nasti. There is no one who is actually ayogya or totally useless and incompetent. Then what is lacking? Yojaka Tatra Durlabha. We need the right yojaka. Yojaka means person who can take that potential out from us. So we have these 4 words here: self, mastery, success and happiness. Let me first focus a bit on success. We have spoken about success. Success, first of all, comes when we have an ideal before us. Our idea of success keeps changing. As children, we have one idea of success. As teenagers, another. As grown-ups, another. And when we are at the fag end of our life, our idea of success changes. A little child was once asked, do you go to school? He said, no. Then, I am sent. His point of success was that he is to go to school successfully, he should be able to get up, go and find an interest in that. So we keep growing, our idea of success evolves. Nothing wrong in that. Swami Vivekananda, when he was a little child, he thought of riding a horse like a horse driver as something which he wanted to become in life. They had a horse carriage at home and he used to admire the man who would drive it. He would like it sitting on the raised platform behind the horses with a whip in his hand and ropes in his control, so that he could make that horse carriage move. He wanted to become that. Of course, when he grew up, he found a higher purpose in life and he had a very heroic struggle to attain that. So we grow in our idea. We must have first of an ideal. Swami Vivekananda said, unfortunately in this life, a vast majority of people keep grouping in the dark life without an ideal. A man with an ideal may make 1,000 mistakes, but a man without an ideal will make 50,000 mistakes. So we must have therefore an ideal. What is our ideal of success? We will grow in that. There is another meaning of success, and that is overcoming obstacles. Suppose you are writing a software, you are writing something to make a computer system work, or you are repairing your bike. You are overcoming an obstacle and then you succeed. You say, yes, I have become successful in doing that. So success means overcoming obstacles. Success also means facing discouragement and yet not being discouraged. This brings to my mind a short story, that of an eagle who had laid its eggs in a place where there were other eggs, perhaps a hen's eggs. And this eagle, in due course, the egg of the eagle broke, it became mature and the little eaglet came out. It started living with the remaining birds, the little chicks around it. And it went on, but now and then it used to feel an urge to fly off. He asked his mother hen, "Mother, I feel like going out and flying." Mother said, "Don't try that, we are not meant for that." But somehow he would feel that he would look into the sky, he would get a great feeling that yes, I must go up into those blue areas. But somehow, mother never discouraged. Then one day, he went to mother and said, "Mother, no more, I want to fly." Mother said, "We are not born for that." Mother never knew that he was an eagle, and he never knew that he was an eagle. But then one day he just broke off everything and flew into the sky. He paid no attention to all the discouragement that was given to him. This is another meaning of success. Success, of course, has got a popular meaning, and that popular meaning is that being popular, being moneyed, being beautiful, being having all the things which make people attractive to you. That's another meaning of success. Now if these all meanings of success you keep in mind, you come to the important part of the success, which is self. Who is going to become successful? Who is this self? Who are we? As Sarvasthani Maharaj referred to that, let's have a little serious discussion. What is it that we want in life depends very much on what we think of ourselves. Our self-image plays the most important role in whatever efforts that we make. Now, what is self-image? One self-image in the morning, Swami Bodhmayanji Maharaj referred to young people wanting to stand before the mirror and having a look at your physical structure, your face. Now, this is physical self-image. We know where our shoulder is, how big we look, and how we smile, how we frown at ourselves. But is it all about us? We have also an intellectual self-image. When you go to school, when you start studying in the school and college, and we see how much of intellectual strength I have, how much of intellectual competence I have. So we develop a type of image about our intellectual capacities. And then we have another self-image which is about our emotions. We say, I get hurt very fast, I am very short-tempered, I am very long-tempered, or I am very emotional. This is a kind of self-image about our emotional self. But there is one self-image which is very rarely referred to in our discussion or in our understanding about the self, and that is our spiritual self-image. Who are we, essentially speaking? Essentially speaking, from where we have come, and what is it that we are finally going to get or attain. This is what Swami Vivekananda repeatedly referred to. He said, each soul is potentially divine. Essentially, all of us are divine. What about those who are, let's say, not good people or wicked people? In them also there is a divinity? He said yes. And he gave the example taken from his master, Sri Ramakrishna. And the example is, you have got a lantern or a kerosene lamp with a chimney around it. And you light it. And you don't clean the chimney. Again you light it and you light it and you do it for several days, till one day you find you light it and hardly any light comes. Then somebody tells you to take a piece of cotton or take a piece of paper and cloth and clean it up. What happens then? The light that is within starts manifesting. It was not that the light was not there. Light was very much there. Likewise, even the people, so-called wicked people who are of no the high moral values, etc., even them also we have the same divine light, but it is covered up with so many coverings. It is this divine image that has to be discovered, which is the real source of our success in life. You see, success without moral and spiritual content is just a moonshine. It's only an external pomp and show. Sri Ramakrishna used to give the instance of, he himself was very poor in mathematics, but he would give the instance of this figure. You have number of zeros, but no digit in the beginning. It is just a zero. It doesn't make any sense. But if you put a figure, maybe just one, and it becomes a big figure. Likewise, all the higher values, all the principles of integrity and of being very proprietary, we must have at the beginning of our all success. If we don't have that digit of moral uprightness, all other achievements are just zeros. So keep that in mind when we are thinking or planning about success. Success requires faith, success requires strength, and success requires concentration. Faith is basic to life. Some people might say, oh, we don't have enough faith. You may not, but you are sitting here, you have faith. Because if you did not have faith that this roof is not going to collapse, or it's going to collapse, you will not be here. So you have faith. Everyone has faith. The point is, in what do we have faith? Cultivate faith, the power of faith. And then the strength. We have various levels of strength. We have the physical strength, the mental strength, the moral strength, and the spiritual strength. The basis of strength is that we have to cultivate it through exercise, through nourishment, and through self-restraint. Physical strength, for instance, you don't go and buy physical strength. You don't say, I am going to buy physical strength. People just go to gymnasium and they take something there and start rotating it, start running around it. And the strength which is already there within their muscles starts manifesting. Muscles are not available in some departmental stores. They are available right within us. We have to exercise them. Likewise, we have the intellectual strength, the moral strength, the spiritual strength. We have to exercise our strength. See, unless we exercise, it becomes very dumb. It loses all its power. So strength requires that it must be exercised. One of the very important ways we have to exercise our strength is that we must structure our daily lives. We must have time to get up, time to sleep, and what we do in between. What to eat, how to eat, where to go, everything must be structured. Now it doesn't mean that we lose the freedom to take or we lose our freedom. We actually gain our freedom to do things as we want to do. And concentration. Concentration, as you know, is that power which brings out all the powers. Concentration is like concentrating the scattered sun rays. When you focus them through a lens, it can burn off a piece of cotton or paper which is kept there, and it can return into a huge fire later. So it is there in that scattered rays, which when they are concentrated, when they are made into a very intense form, we find that they develop so much of power. Likewise, the mind which is scattered has to be focused. And that focused mind brings out the knowledge that is already within us. That's what Swami Vivekananda said. Now before I close, let me refer to a very well-known example of controlling a chariot. Our subject is self-mastery as the key to success and happiness. We might use the word, instead of key, we might use the word program, a password, it means the same. A password to the program called success and happiness. So, what is that password or what is the key? He said the self-mastery. Now, self-mastery is an example, is an issue which you find that being discussed by all spiritual masters, by all people who are interested in self-development. Self-development happens to self-mastery. In the Kathopanishad, one of the Upanishads, which was very dear to Swami Vivekananda, he told one of his disciples to memorize it. In the Kathopanishad, there is an instance of a chariot, of a ratha. You have watched the, Google, if you watch the Mahabharata serial or Ramayana, you can see the chariot, you can recall the chariot, the horse carriage with in front the horses. So the Kathopanishad compares the human personality to a chariot. We have the horses. The Kathopanishad says the human senses are those horses. The five senses, the nose, the eyes, the ears, the senses which are trying to gather knowledge or gather perception. And they are also wanting to come in touch with their objects all the time. And they are tied through their nose by a rein or a rope, which is the mind, which means the mind controls these horses, and it has to be in the hands of, it is in the hands of another person called the Buddhi, the Sarathi. Buddhim tu Sarathim Vidhi. It says, know that Buddhi or intellect is the driver which is making the whole personality or the chariot of personality run. Have it in your hand, because if the buddhi is well trained, which means if the driver is well awake and it is very clear about which side it has to go to, he wants to go to, then the chariot will go in the right direction. And then he will control the mind or the reins or the rope in his hand very well. But if the driver is asleep, if the driver is not alert, if the driver is not skillful, where will the chariot go? It's just like you get into a car, you say, yes, I will go to railway station. When you open your eyes, you have gone away into the airport. Then you ask the driver, what happened? I don't know, the car took me there. It just went. You have to be alert, know where to go, how to go. So the chariot has to be controlled. And this chariot controlling is what we call self-mastery. Self-mastery is what is at the root of all success, and which, if it is truly understood, leads to happiness. Not all the time the popular meaning of success brings happiness, because success, if that means, it means only there is money and there is popularity and all the covetable things which people have. Success comes only when we have overcome our little ego. Then only happiness becomes our constant friend. Otherwise, we are always complaining and protesting and bemoaning that why life is like that. People have everything and yet they feel that something is missing in life. That is why Swami Vivekananda said, unselfishness is God. This unselfishness, the test of religion. We may have all the things in the world. We may have painted, he says, we may have painted ourselves like a leopard, which means we have used all the things necessary to make us state that we are spiritual or we are religious. But if we have not learned to become unselfish, go away from an ego-centered nature, all our success has been just futile. So, in conclusion, let me refer to what perhaps appealed to Barack Obama when he came to India and addressed the Parliament of India. He said, quoting Swamiji from his famous Chicago speech, he said, holiness, purity and charity are not exclusive possessions of any church in the world, and that every system has produced men and women of the most exalted character. In the same way, on similar lines, you might say, irrespective of our past or present conditions, we all have the right to happiness, success and peace, which comes through self-mastery and excellence in all that we do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Swami Atmashraddhanandaji, for giving the key to the self-mastery. Key to success and happiness has been given to you. Now it is for you to use the key. You may or may not use it. If you want success, happiness, use this key. If you don't want happiness and peace, happiness and success, don't use the key. Key is now with you. He has given us.